You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Today is Thursday, first day of May, 2025. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. The first live broadcast is our live training room. That's reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you've not yet taken your 1-week free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com. At the very top of the page, you'll see a purple button. Click that. We'll get your indicators up and indicating, and then you'll get 5 consecutive trading days. Don't worry about the weekend. 5 consecutive trading days with access to everything our members have access to. Except for one thing, which is the members only workshop, which happens on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. However, Michael's out of town, so not only will today's broadcast be shorter than normal, we will not do a workshop tonight. So, this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which starts each day at 12 noon Eastern, is open to the public. Everybody everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join the afternoon broadcast live. The best way is you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says noon broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email, there will be a link, so at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. The benefit of doing it that way is you have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there will be days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you might still want to join live. And some days you'll be busy, can't join live, but want to catch up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,800 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. And thanks to the power of YouTube, you can actually see how we've evolved over the years. You can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all, nor do you need to, but it's a great resource to have access to, and it lets you know we've been around for a minute. youtube.com/CFRN. This is our normal daily schedule for the afternoon broadcast, but we won't have this part here because Michael is out for the day. So we're going to jump right into our daily devotional, and the topic we began a couple days ago, after the cross. Today's scripture is Revelation 5, verses 6 through 10, and I'll share it with you from the Message translation. So I looked, and there, surrounded by the throne, animals, and elders, was a lamb, slaughtered but standing tall. 7 horns he had, and 7 eyes, the 7 spirits of God sent into all the earth. He came to the one seated on the throne and took the scroll from his right hand. The moment he took the scroll, the 4 animals and 24 elders fell down and worshiped the Lamb. Each had a harp and each had a bowl, a gold bowl filled with incense, the prayers of God's holy people. And they sang a new song. Worthy, take the scroll, open its seals. Slain, paying in blood, you bought men and women. Bought them back from all over the earth. Bought them back for God. Then you made them a kingdom, priests for our God, priest kings to rule over the earth. Again, that was Revelation 5, verses 6 through 10. And the topic of the devotion for the rest of this week and next week is after the cross. Last 2 weeks we did Holy Week and Easter. Now we're talking about what happens next. In the book of Revelation, the Apostle John sees a vision of a lot of things that have yet to happen. He's also caught up to heaven, where he sees 4 living creatures in front of God's throne. These mysterious beings praise the exalted and triumphant Jesus as the only one worthy to open the first seal of judgment. The scene is vivid, symbolic, and mysterious. But among all the mystery, one thing is clear. Love is the currency of heaven. The 4 living creatures don't praise Jesus because he is a all-powerful or all-knowing. In this scene, as the pivotal point in history, they worship him for the love he displayed on the cross. Jesus giving his life on the cross was precious, so much so that it's valued in heaven. It was such a momentous act that the creatures before God's throne talk about it. It's not just a symbol. It's not just a nice thing someone did for you a long time ago. It's a game changer. It's a turning point for every one of us. Don't let a day go by that you don't value it. See it for the precious act that it was, but also for the great love that motivated it. It got heaven's attention. Let it get yours too. Don't wait for that someday when we'll join those creatures in heaven. Praise Jesus for his great love for you right now, today. Let's pray. Jesus, you were slain, and by your blood you have redeemed us, every tribe, tongue, and nation. We praise you for making us a kingdom of priests to serve our God. Fill our hearts with awe and gratitude for your sacrifice and reign. May our lives bring glory to the one who is worthy forever. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray, and everybody said, amen. Amen, and happy Thursday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. We'll start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices. Currently the Dow up 214 points. The NASDAQ up 339, almost 2%. S&P 500 up 54, almost 1%. And the Russell 2000 up 12. In the commodity basket, crude oil down 6 cents, trading 58.15 last. Gold down $96.20, trading 32.22 last. That's a drop of almost 3%. Silver down 23 cents, 3/4 of 1%. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 406 points. It's a little over 1%. The Shanghai dropped 7. The Hang Seng gained 111. And in the European markets, at the close, FTSE up 2. The DAX up 71. The CAC up 38. Pretty quiet there. So that gave us a mixed day in Asia. It was a green day for the UK. And so far, it's a big green Radio Thursday here in the US of A. Let's take a look at the news. The U.S. Supreme Court appeared open to green-lighting the country's first religious charter school in oral arguments yesterday. A decision is expected by early July. St. Isidore is a proposed virtual K-12 Catholic school in Oklahoma. In 2023, it received school board approval to operate as a charter school, applying to receive $2.7 million in state funds. At issue is whether state funding would violate the First Amendment's Establishment Clause, which prohibits states from endorsing a religion. Also at issue is whether barring the school from the charter school program is a violation of the Free Exercise Clause, given that secular schools can apply. Quite the conundrum. Justice Amy Coney Barrett recused herself from the case without explanation. Chief Justice John Roberts may hold the deciding vote, while other Republican-appointed justices appearing to side with the school, and Democratic-appointed justices siding with the state attorney general. About 8% of U.S. students, that's 4 million children, are enrolled in charter schools. On Wall Street, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said today that the bond market is signaling that the Federal Reserve should be cutting rates. Bessent said this morning on Fox's Business Network, Mornings with Maria program, We're seeing that two-year rates are now below Fed funds rates. So that's a market signal that they think the Fed should be cutting. The Fed funds rate is the benchmark interest rate set by the Federal Reserve, an overnight rate that influences rate levels on all bond maturities from 3 months to 10 years. The Fed's policy rate is currently set in a range of 4.25% to 4.5%. The yield on the two-year Treasury sits at 3.75% as of today. Traders don't expect the Fed to lower rates at its next meeting, which is May 6th and 7th, but they are betting on a cut in June and more cuts later in the year. The Treasury Secretary's new comment follows a number of suggestions from President Trump that the Fed and its chairman, Jerome Powell, should lower rates. Trump said yesterday, "I have a guy in the Fed, not a huge fan. We should have interest rates go down and be positive." Well said, Mr. Trump. Microsoft announced its third quarter earnings after the bell yesterday, beating expectations on the top and bottom lines on the strength of its cloud performance. Shares of Microsoft were up almost 10% in early trading today, now a little over 8%. And they say it's not working. Nvidia rose as much as 4.3% early today. Leading other chip stocks higher as big tech leaders Meta and Microsoft reaffirmed their aggressive AI investment plans. Shares of fellow AI chip makers Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, and Broadcom, AVGO, jumped 1.3% and 2.4% respectively. Nvidia's supplier, Micron, MU, which makes advanced memory chips for its GPUs, those are graphics processing units, climbed 2.7%. Mercedes plans to begin producing a new vehicle at its Tuscaloosa, Alabama plant in 2027. The company announced that today. It's the latest in a series of investments car makers have announced following U.S. President Donald Trump's aggressive auto tariffs. The German automaker didn't disclose which vehicle it would add to its Tuscaloosa plant, only saying it would be a core vehicle segment that would deepen its commitment to the U.S. Yeah, I know you've heard it before, but might as well hear it again. You see Mercedes go to LA, go to New York, go to any city in America. You'll see Mercedes everywhere. Go to Germany and try to find a Ford F-150, the most popular truck in the world. You won't find one. See, that's the kind of stuff President Trump's trying to get across to everyone in America, on both sides of the aisle, and around the world. The way we've been treated as a nation, it's just wrong. Just wrong. And this is just right. Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around-the-clock Emini alert service. We're currently in week 352. Over the last 352 weeks, we have issued over 19,500 individual handcrafted alerts. And we've averaged on a weekly basis 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and the simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, Valerie did the recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern, She'll, of course, update it later this afternoon, early evening. But at the time she did the recap this morning, since the markets opened this past Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 48 alerts. Still waiting on the outcome of 11. It gives us 37 actionable alerts, of which 4 or 11% would have been stopped out. Again, based on market structure and a simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, every logic alert has an entry price, an initial target, additional targets in most cases, and a final trade to target. Yes, you can trade them, but make sure you use them for the purpose intended. And that is to teach you how to read a chart, how to instinctively know where potential resistance is and where potential support is, because that reveals the windows of opportunity that lie between those two important points. Doesn't matter if it's futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. The logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock. 2 a.m., 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. Now, 352 weeks, 19,500 plus alerts. That's a lot and a long time. But way before we had Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. And they're different. Different how? Well, they don't come out around the clock. They're posted as a static report shortly before or shortly after the Globex Open. Last night I got them out at 5:55 p.m. Eastern. The Thursday session began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Like I said, futures trade around the clock. So what this means is 5 minutes before the markets opened last night, all of our members, all of our trial members had all of these targets. The S&P, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, the NQ, gold, and silver. If you're a member or trial member, be sure to read this information up here. Make sure you understand it. And if you don't, then ask. And we'll make sure that you do. So, with that said, let's go to the daily chart of the S&P 500 E-mini futures. Now, we talked about this yesterday. Well, we've talked about it for a few days, but specifically yesterday, I said if we could get up into the body of this candle, okay, because we had a gap here that had to be filled. We got it filled. And I said, once we're inside the body of this red candle right here, if you didn't see yesterday's broadcast, I went into detail. You can check it out at youtube.com/CFRN. I said, once price gets up into this area, it should be a pretty simple run up to the 62% reverse fib. Well, we had a big green candle and then not so much. So, in fact, let me refresh this just to make sure. Sometimes the daily chart will hang up a little bit. Nope, that's good. All right, so we're above the BBC. The green line's called the BBC, stands for bull, bear, cross. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. It's called the BBC. Now, whether price pulls down from above or pulls up from below, the pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. But eventually, like here and like here, eventually it will trade through it. And then we have the opportunity to begin building legs in the other direction. See, we were in an uptrend till this point, and then the downtrend began. Leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement. Now notice we got a double bottom here at the 24% fib. If we were going to continue the downtrend, we would have had to taken out this low. But the market seems to have other ideas. So we know the 62, that's a major resistance area. And every institutional trader knows we're at a 62% reverse fib. And when price hits a fib on a daily chart of any market, things happen. So our next major resistance will be here. Come on. 57.73. And then right here, which is basically, will be conservative, call it 58, call it 58.30. Okay, those are two key numbers you should keep in mind. Now once price takes out this high, this bearish cross where the red line gets below the green line, when you have a bearish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area will almost always be good resistance. At least the first time up. So make sure you keep that number in mind. Let's call it 6,100 to be conservative. Okay. Now, institutional traders look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Has everything to do with account size. So I encourage you to spend 2 minutes with the daily chart of whatever it is you're about to trade. Number one, you get a free peek over the shoulder of the deep pockets that actually move price. You get to see what they're doing, okay? And you're able to identify the major areas of resistance and support that you will not see on your smaller time frame. If this daily candle trades below the open from last night, you've got potential support right here at the step line, at blue and climbing, at the 50% reverse fib, and the daily BVC. That's quite a layer of support. You won't be able to see that on the smaller time frames. So give the daily chart 2 minutes, and if you choose, you can go with the flow instead of fighting the flow. All alerts are created on the 30-minute chart. Nothing magic about 30 minutes. It's just the time frame I chose many years ago. And as long as it's working, leave it alone. Now when price drops to a weekly trading zone, we expect support till proven otherwise. When price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. Support. This move today, this is where we opened last night. We never had to be concerned with the short target because price never got below the BVC. This one candle here flirted with it, spiked it a little bit, but the pullback held. Leg retracement, leg retracement. Now we are actually below the BBC. So if the market is going to make a move to the downside, you've got potential support here, potential support here, and potential support here. And then you're at the zone. So we'll see if this candle can take out these lows. If so, that opens up some opportunity down below. Now, if the institutional traders are as serious as they were at the beginning of the session, we should see price get back above the BBC, but I don't know that that's going to happen. So you've always got to trade what's in front of you. On the Dow, here's where the market opened last night. You'll notice the step line, the black line, crossed blue and climbing. When that happens, we typically get a retracement back to the BBC, and as you can see, the pullback held. Support sent us up to the long target. Resistance, which sent us back to support at the BBC. Then we put in a higher high, and if you take the time to go look left, you'll see why. Now, like the ES, we're back below the BBC. Support there, support there, support there. Now, a beautiful window would be something like 4,800 down to 4,760. That would be twice your daily goal. On the Russell, we opened right at the zone above the BBC, and we went right for the long target. Remember, everyone had these targets 5 minutes before the market opened. This was the opening candle. So it ran straight up to the long target. Resistance, which was based off this bearish cross right here. Okay. First time price revisits that area. This was actually the second time. See, this high yesterday got stopped dead in its tracks by this bearish cross. And so really it was this high that created the long target. So we consolidated for a few hours. We dropped to the zone below, which held as support. And then this candle, was this the open? Yeah, this was the 9:30 opening candle on Wall Street. We went all the way from where we opened up to the zone, all the way down through this zone, all the way down to this zone, okay, where the market found support yesterday. But that quickly changed, 10 o'clock news I'm guessing, and we put in a high here. Go look left and you'll see why. Price is now retraced back to the BBC, just like the ES and the Dow. So if the market gives us the opportunity, this is a most excellent window of opportunity right there. No obstacles to get in the way. The NQ. Here's where we opened last night. Made a run right up to the long target. Pulled back to the BBC. The pullback held. Gave us a leg and a retracement. Now that doji right there, that's possible that's marking the high of the session. So we could see prices head lower into the close. But that's just one market and that's just one doji. But the way it's placed, I'm thinking the market may have some difficulty getting back above it, but it's trying right now. It's right at the BBC. Crude oil. Here's where we opened last night. Below the BBC, so we expect lower prices. And we got them. We hit the target, bounced, support bounced us. And then we traded through the target all the way down to 56.40. From there, we made it all the way back up to this week's lowest weekly trading zone, 58.80/85. Now we've come back down to the short target yet again. So we hit it once, hit it twice, 3 times. Gold, big bad day for gold. Now, at the open last night, we were below the BBC, and we had red and falling overhead. And in one big beautiful candle, we ran all the way down to the short target. Even spiked it a little bit. This candle opened at 32.99, and so from 99 to 86, that's $1,300 per contract traded. Consolidated there for a minute, and then we get the drop. We finally, it looks like we're going to get a shot at redemption here, but it fails. And is that the lowest weekly zone? Nope, there's still one more zone below. Price consolidating here at the zone. From the zone, we bounced up to the BBC. The pullback held, and it held, and it held, and it held. And here we sit. Now, we're below the BBC. We've got red and falling overhead. So I would expect 32.15 to 32.14. That should be a pretty good trade, and that's enough to get you your goal for the day. 32.15 to 32.14. Got potential support here, potential support here, and then the lowest weekly zone is way down there at 30.60. And last, silver. We opened right below the BBC with red and falling in the picture, and that took us right down to the short target. Now, it only takes 2 pennies in silver to get your goal for the day. This candle opened at 32.70, so just to the target, that's 8 pennies or $400 per contract traded, but it continued all the way to the zone. Now, all of these zones were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, as they have been for the last 15 plus years, once they're published on Monday morning, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. So where are we now? We've come back, and remember, we traded through the short target, and so as we pulled back up, that became resistance, as often the case. Right now, we're sitting on top of the BBC, but with all these wicks sticking up in the air, I gotta think, as much as I hate to say it ain't so, Joe. That's one big window of opportunity right there. 32.15 down to 31.98. That's 17 cents. Call it 16 cents. $800 per contract traded. One last look at the daily. Okay, looks like we got some more buying coming in on the institutional side, pushing price. If we close at or near the high of the day, then tomorrow I would, unless there's some bad earnings that comes out this afternoon or other negative news, tomorrow we might see ourselves above the 62. If we break through that 62% reverse fib, keep in mind these areas I've already pointed out where you may find potential resistance. Now, this is a daily chart, so of course on the smaller time frames there will be lots of support and resistance areas. But I encourage you to always take the top-down approach. Start with your daily. On one monitor, you should have a 30-minute. And then on another monitor, you've got your range chart where you're actually executing your trades. To become a member, go to mytradingiq.com. Watch the videos. There's a lot of content there to read. When you're ready to become a member, send an email to support@cfrn.net. In the email, just say, hey, I want to become a member. We'll send you an email that explains everything it means to become a member, and there'll be a link you can click to actually become a member. Number one, you're going to get 2 hours of live training every trading day in our live training room. That's interactive training. Trades are being put on, taken off. You're asking every question that pops into your head while you trade along in your demo account so you can qualify to go live. Along with 2 hours of interactive training every trading day, you also have access to private one-on-one mentoring. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Remember, price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. As a passport holder, you get the Logic 247 alerts. You get the concierge trade alerts the second they're published every evening. Monday mornings at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you get the weekly trading zones. And again, once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. You're able to attend the members-only workshop on Thursday nights. Again, no Thursday night workshop tonight. I'll put a note in the discussion group to make sure everybody knows. And you get the golden key that opens all the private channels in Telegram. When you're on the trial, you have access to the public channels. But once you become a member, you have access to all the channels. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. All right, we'll wrap it up with our good word for the day. Don't break, bounce back. Part 1. Since my youth, they have often attacked me, but they have not prevailed against me. Psalm 129:2. When resilient people hit bottom, they don't break, they bounce back. The Apostle Paul was such a person. 2 Corinthians 4:8. We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. We are persecuted, but not abandoned. We are struck down, but not destroyed. So how can you bounce back instead of breaking? Well, try these 2 things. Number 1, when you can't control your circumstances, take control of your life. When a back injury paralyzed Angela Madsen from the waist down, she vowed to do whatever it took to get back up. As a result, she started training to be the first woman with a disability to row across the Atlantic. Journalist Denise Foley writes, Madsen is what researchers call resilient, able to rebound from whatever difficulty life brings. She's one of those people who make us wonder how we would fare if our own mettle was tested. Would we bounce back? And number 2, instead of complaining about the wrong people being in your life, start looking for the right people. Ned Hallowell grew up with a father with bipolar, an abusive stepfather, an alcoholic mother, and 2 learning disabilities. A history that's often a precursor to jail or a mental health facility. But he went on to become a prominent psychiatrist, a happily married father, and a successful author. It happened largely because at a boarding school, he attached himself to teachers who cared about him and took him under their wing. So when times are tough, lean on God. Take control of your life and look for the right people. Don't break, bounce back. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, May God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.